Hi, I'm Peter Marsh, and it's time for another Aether and ATX video. It's been a long time since I've posted on this channel, but here's full disclosure. I'm really just making this video so I can make a thumbnail for it, so I can use it as the header for my Substack post that I'm about to put out. I put things on Substack every so often. I'm actually working on a book right now that takes my beliefs, and I'm just basically writing them all out so that you guys can read it if you're interested. My Substack, if you ever want to go over there, it's PR Marsh is my username, and then the name of my Substack is called Tell Don't Show. So I think either one of those searches will get you there. I'll probably put the link in the description below. But yeah, now that I've told you that I'm just basically making this so I can post something on Substack, let me tell you what today's topic is going to be. I want to use the metaphor of the music montage to explain our life experience. Okay, so what the heck am I talking about? I love music montages. Okay, you're on YouTube probably right now, and you could easily just type in Star Wars War Pigs, and you could watch a montage of clips from all different Star Wars movies with Black Sabbath's War Pigs playing in the background, right? Or you could do Avengers Endgame, whatever it takes, or Avengers, whatever it takes, and you'll get this montage, I think from Infinity War, with the song Whatever It Takes by Imagine Dragons playing, right? Those are just two examples. I actually really love those videos. TikTok is filled with them, right? Where they splice together anime with a specific song or clips from Batman cartoons and shows. You know, obviously you can tell I like comic books. But those montages bring me so much happiness because I personally believe that the greatest creation of humankind, or at least one of them, is music. And I think that the power of music is that it informs us on how we should feel in the moment. Now, I love montages because you're getting two senses at the same time, right? You're getting the music, which is, you know, you're hearing it, but then you're also visually seeing stuff that excites you at the same time. And when the music is synced up with the imagery, that is my favorite thing of all time. That's like maybe my favorite experience in life, is just watching music sync up perfectly with images. That's why my favorite movie is The Transformers the movie from 1986. You know, it's a glorified toy commercial, and it's like 86 minutes. I'm sure that nostalgia plays a big role in this too, but that movie does this incredible job of syncing up the action, the exciting things that you're seeing on screen with this crazy hair metal soundtrack. It's like kind of what formed me into who I am today. And you've probably left this video after hearing that. I don't care. You're still here, so that's awesome. So, how does this compare to life? What am I talking about? How can we use this as a metaphor for our existence? So there's two components, right? There's the visual component of one of these montages, where you're seeing stuff that's collected from all various films. And then there is the musical component, the thing that you're hearing, right? It's a specific song, right? Specific songs, you can take the Deftones and you combine it with Batman. Chef's kiss, right? Anyway, if we're going to take this and use it as a metaphor for life, I think that the music component, right? Well, no, let's do the visual component. That'll be a better stepping stone. The visual component is what you experience in your life. So in your everyday, what you're experiencing in that moment, right? And so it's what you're experiencing, but more importantly, it's how you're feeling based on your experience. So you go throughout your day and things aren't working out well. You know, so you have a flat tire when you go outside, it's raining outside, you're running late to work. There's all these negative things that are happening, and so they're making you feel a certain way inside. And that affects your perception. That affects your view on reality, is how you feel about what your senses are taking in, right? And then the other component, the musical component, is basically what you've chosen to believe about life. Now, you could be religious, and you could believe that there is a religious, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a, like basically a higher purpose to all this suffering that you're experiencing, right? You're having this misfortune now because you're going to have a reward in the afterlife, or things are challenging for you to make you more humble so you can be better for other people. That's maybe looking at it through a religious point of view, right? It could be that you're thinking about like your sense of character and okay, well, I'm going through all these hardships right now because this is making me into a better person. Maybe I'm a writer and now I can write about these unpleasant experiences I'm having. Maybe I'm a singer and I can write a song about this crappy day. And here's all these different little details I can use from my own personal experience, right? Whatever that is, it's your reason for doing things. It is your story that you're telling yourself about yourself. That's the music component. And then the reality component, the visuals of the montage, that is like what you're experiencing in the moment and how it's making you feel. Now, keep going with me. It's only 6 minutes, okay? It's not so bad. But I want you to think about how music affects what you see in a movie. Easiest example is Star Wars, right? A New Hope, the first Star Wars movie that ever came out, right? They were originally going to have a sort of more typical sci-fi soundtrack, which would be made with like electronic music, be much more subdued. And they use that type of music in the very original trailer for Star Wars. And when you watch it, it does not have any kind of impact. It does not feel like the movie that we have all grown to love, right? Then you add this John Williams score for the original movie, and all of a sudden John Williams is telling you exactly how you should feel in that moment. He plays the Force theme when Luke walks out to go see the twin sunsets of Tatooine, right? And you understand how Luke is feeling based on John Williams' music. Sure, there's the cinematography, there's Mark Hamill's acting, but way more than that, way more powerful than that is John Williams' score. So the music itself informs you how to feel in that moment, right? And so just think about these montages that you've seen, and then I want you to think about discordance, right? There are times when the music does not match up with what you're seeing, and it gives you that weird kind of feeling. Like think about something that, like a horror movie might be the best example, where they might be playing a sort of like a classic, 50s type song, some sort of like upbeat song, but they're showing you someone that's getting murdered, right? They're showing you something disturbing. That weird feeling of like the music not syncing up with the imagery is still effective because it makes you feel a certain way, but it's the opposite, right? So, does any of this help you hearing this? Like, can you take any of this and apply it to your life? I think you can. I think that if we think of these things, these two parts of our life, as two things that we have some control over, I think it gives us a little bit of hope. We have control over the way that we feel about what we're experiencing. That's the visual part of the montage. And then we have control over what we believe, like the overarching story of our lives, the purpose of why things happen to us. That's the music part, right? And so there are times when it's going to feel like we don't have control over how we feel in the moment because something so extreme just happened. We got into a car accident. Our lover is breaking up with us. Something happened to our kid. There's something horrible happening and we feel like we have no control over that. So when that happens, we revert over to the other side that we can control in that moment and think, okay, this horrible thing is happening, but it's happening for this big reason. Then there are times when you can't really see the reason. You can't really understand your story. Like you can't really understand, like, what am I supposed to do? What's going on? And so then you can just have control over what you're experiencing in the moment, right? I don't really know what's going on with my story. I'm not really sure what my next step is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But right now in this moment, I'm going to feel this way about what I'm experiencing. So see how there's two different parts of it? And sometimes you can control one, but you can't control the other. Sometimes you can control both, but minimal control over both. It looks a little obscene. But you have control of at least one of them at some point. So anyway, I hope you like my lopsided video. It's because of my stand I'm using to hold up my phone. It's a little wobbly. There's my cat. Hi. And this angle is very unflattering. Jesus. But does any of this metaphor talk make sense to you? And guess what? I wrote this out. It's much clearer in the first chapter of my book that I'm posting over on my Substack. The Substack's called Tell, Don't Show. The guy on there, that's me, PR Marsh. Go check it out. But I thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a good day. And since I'm off from my main job, there's going to be a lot more A30 ATX videos coming soon.